Finding shoes that fit when you have large feet is such a headache. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the best boots for winter. I've had a lot of trial and error over the years, and I have a few that I can definitely recommend. I managed to find a few stores that offer some nice trendy boots that fit well, and I have a few tips for you guys on how you might be able to find boots that work for you when you've got super large feet. I do wear a size UK 10, which I think equivalates to like a US women's 12 or US women's 13, something like that, or in between there. So I'm going to start with my favorite pair, and they are the Stuart Weitzman boots. So this is what they look like. I've always really wanted a pair of Stuart Weitzman 50/50s, and they were on my wish list for a really long time. And when I eventually saved up enough money to find a shop to buy them from, they didn't have my size. So Stuart Weitzman boots don't actually go up to a size UK 10. I believe the largest they do is a UK 9, which would be a US 11, I believe. But what I figured out over time is that Stuart Weitzman shoes run large. So whenever I've gone to the shop, they've always recommended to go down a size. Worked perfectly for me. If you are in London, there is a shop that's near Bond Street that just sells shoes, large women's shoes. So I will put the address of that road or links to a few of the shops that are on that road that you guys can check out. One of those shops, I think it's called Crispin Shoes, they do sell Stuart Weitzman boots, and they do have the 50/50 boots, but they're always sold out. I picked these boots up from Bicester Village. So these were on sale. I think they were on sale for £250, down from 400 and something, or £500. So they were a really good deal. I think it's a size 9 or a European 42. If I'm wrong, I'll put a correction on the screen, but I believe it's a size 42 was the last size that they had. So I got really lucky with these boots. I have been online to see if they have these boots available online, and I can't see them, but I will put boots that are similar down in the description for you guys to check out. They are in a suede finish, and they are quite chunky at the bottom. There's a small heel, and then there is these adjustments at the back of the thigh. They do go over the knee. I am quite tall though, so I think that these were probably designed to be more thigh highs, but on me they're just over the knee. So if you're a bit shorter than me, then they might go a bit longer. I do like a thigh high boot, I do like an over the knee boot, but for me they do have to be a particular style, just so that they stay at a particular taste level. If I'm going to get an over the knee boot, then I tend to look for a lower heel. I'm less likely to go for an over the knee boot that has a really high heel, unless it's for an occasion or something like that. But I wear these to work and casually, so I think that they work better for me. There is no elastication on the thigh or around the leg. As I'm sure you guys know, when you've got large feet, it can be a bit tricky. I know a lot of ladies with larger feet have bigger calves, but I don't. My calves and my ankles are really quite skinny, so I do struggle sometimes with getting boots that don't have laces because my heel tends to slip up out of them. So I just found these to be really comfortable. There isn't a zip, so you have to pull them on like a sock, but that works really well for me. There's enough space in there, and it's not too loose. I feel like, especially with a thigh high, if the fit really isn't right across your legs, then it can make it look a bit like cheap. If I have a pair of skinny jeans, I am able to get these over my jeans. If the lower parts of your legs are a bit wider, then I definitely recommend the 50/50s. I'll put a picture of them here because they're elasticated at the back. So that allows for a bit more space, whereas these don't have that. I also wasn't sure about the suede on them. I thought that they might get ruined really easy, but in the shop they did have them in fully leather. They just didn't have my size, so if I can find those, I will put them in the description as well. But so far I haven't had any problems with these at all. I've had them for about 3 years, and they're always the boot that I reach for. I think they're a really classic boot with just a little bit of edge, so I really like these boots. These boots are my favorite. Okay, next I have a pair of Dr. Martens. Now I think that these are the 1460s, but I'm not 100% sure, so I will put a link in the description to exactly what style this is, or I'll put it over the screen. They look like this. They are a bit worn. I do know that Dr. Martens are a bit like Marmite, like people either love them or they hate them, but I love them. To me, Dr. Martens never go out of style. They are a classic. And I do really like the JADON style. I will put a picture here. They are a bit more platformed, but I've had these boots for about 10 years. I've had these boots for a really, really long time. I personally think Dr. Martens look nice with a bit of character on them. So these look a bit worn, but they are still boots that I reach for. They are really chunky. I've picked these up in a UK 10. So they look big. I think I spent a lot of my life trying to find shoes that made my feet look smaller. And then one day I just gave up and I just went with it. I have big feet. I am quite tall. I'm 6 foot. So, you know, my feet match my height. What I do like about Dr. Martens though is that because they do come in men's and women's, you can shop men's and women's, and that makes it a bit easier to find the size that you need. They are quite a firm boot, but once you wear them, they do get a bit softer. They do also have a style that is midi length. There is quite a strong cultural history with Dr. Martens boots. They were definitely like workman boots originally, but I don't know. I just really like them. I feel like they can add a bit of edge to your outfit. They aren't very shy boots. What I really enjoy about Dr. Martens is that they are classics and you can play around with sizing just to get ones that are just right for you. They are definitely not the most girly boot, but I love them and I would recommend them. So next I have a pair of Prada dupes. Now the Prada Monolith boot was a boot that I was considering picking up, but I just wasn't sure of whether they were just a trendy boot, you know, whether it would be a boot that I'd reach for in 10 years like I do my Dr. Martens. So I didn't pick them up, but I did find a pair of dupes from ASOS and they look like this. I wore them to a few festivals this summer, so I've done my best to get them as clean as possible. But basically they are just a chunky, almost military style boot. They did actually come with the, you know, the Prada boots also come with like a bag attached around it. That was attached to this as well. You can see there's a loop for it here, but I did take that off. I don't mind it on the Prada boot, but I just felt like I'm either gonna buy the Prada boots with the bag attached or I'm not gonna have that bit. I don't mind my shoes being inspired by designer, but I don't particularly like when they try to mimic the exact style. So I've just taken them off. I would show you, but I threw them away. I definitely knew I wasn't going to wear them. So they're pretty high on the leg. I don't know if you guys can tell yet, but I love a chunky boot. I prefer a chunky boot over a heeled boot. I prefer a platformed boot over a heeled boot. I have tried out quite a few heeled boots in my time, but I'm always uncomfortable in them. I think it's because of my narrow ankles. I always find that they're either too short, so they're either pushing on my toes or my heels coming out of the back. So whenever I want to wear a more dressy outfit with a boot, I'm usually more inclined to pick up a platformed boot. I just find them to be more comfortable. So I love this. I love all of this chunk around it. It does have a zip up the side. I believe I picked this up from ASOS Men's. I do enjoy ASOS for that as well. ASOS and Boohoo. I always shop their men's shoes. I don't mind adding a bit of masculine style to my outfits, and it also helps me to be able to find the size that I need. I was a bit worried that this bit here would just look a bit too chunky on me, but I actually quite like them. They're so comfortable. Like I said, I wore them to a couple of festivals this year and I was comfortable for the whole time that I wore them. They also kind of give me Spice Girls energy, so I felt a bit like Scary Spice in these and I just love them. I think these might have convinced me to pick up the Monolith boots. So next I have these boots. Now I just picked these boots up. I wanted to give you guys a few options that I know are available right now. So they are these greyish boots and they're similar to the last boots that I showed you in the sense that they're really chunky. I do love the chunky boot. I picked them up in this grey colour, but they do come in a black as well. They're pretty long. They go quite high up on the leg and they have a zip that runs down the side. These are like Bottega dupes. I will put a picture of what the Bottegas look like there. So they're kind of like Bottega inspired. They are a bit more like wellies. So I would say that these are a bit more casual. I do like this color, but I'm thinking I might have preferred them in the darker color. They are really comfortable, and I think if you've got thicker calves, then this would be a really good style to reach for. These were a bit wide on me, but I didn't mind them because I think that kind of goes with the style. I do think with these boots, you do need to be really particular about how you style them. I do feel like there's nothing wrong with a bit of self-expression in your shoes as well. I think I would definitely need to play around with how I wear them, but I do like that these go up to a UK size 11 in the women's section on ASOS. They also were really affordable, and you can pick them up in different colors. So I do really like these. I think these could also look really nice with the right dress and with trousers. So I definitely think that they're worth checking out. So next I have a pair of Converse. And again, I can't remember the name of them, but I will put links in the description. They are the platformed Converse. I feel like they're a bit like the Dr. Martens in that you kind of either love them or you hate them. They do look very big. It's because they are, you know, I've got big feet. So I picked these up in a UK 10, I believe. Yeah, I picked these up in a UK 10. I picked these because they are just super comfortable. Of course, they're not waterproof, but I think that there's enough space in there to put on a pair of really thick socks. So if you're going out and you know it's not going to be too wet, but it's cold, I feel like you could get away with these. They are made of canvas, so they're not insulated or anything, but you could always go up half a size or up a size so that you can fit in a nice pair of thick socks. I like these because they are also unisex, so I was also able to get exactly the size that I needed in these. They are platformed again, so I automatically knew that I wanted them. And what I like about platform boots as well is that because you're a bit raised off of the floor, I don't know if you guys ever experienced like feeling cold through the bottom of your shoes, but I hate it. So with the platform here, you're able to kind of get your feet off the floor a bit, which definitely comes in handy when it's really cold. So I picked these up in white. As you can see, they're not very white anymore, but again, I wouldn't necessarily like trash them and then wear them, but I think that them looking a bit like I wear them is fine. They are super comfortable, and you don't have to worry about it being big or small around your ankles because you can adjust it with the laces. So there are a few other shops that I do tend to check out when I'm looking for boots. They include Jimmy Choo. There's a shop that's called Magna Shoes, that's on Bond Street, and Just Fab. They are a few of the other shops that I know do go up to or higher than a UK size 10. So I will put links to all of those shops down below. You will notice that I didn't include any heeled boots. If you'd like to see a video on the best heeled boots for large feet, do let me know. I do always tend to reach for my platforms though, so these are my favorites for the moment. I hope you found this video helpful. Thank you so much for watching. I will put a link to another one of my videos here for you guys to check out, and I will see you in my next one.
Keep raising beats from top.